Hello one and all, and welcome back to Final Drive Sim Racing. Hello everyone and welcome. We are back. It's Thursday night, which means Final Drive Sim Racing has returned, and it's sprint race week. I missed the last lot of sprint races as I was away, so I'm really looking forward to these two races we've got for you. And today we are at the Circuit of the Americas in, of course, America. So this is one I'm really looking forward to. A great track. Just to remind you of the format, they have 15 minutes of qualifying one. Race 1 is 40 minutes, 7 minutes of qualifying 2, 20 minutes for race 2. Ballast and reverse grid will be in play this evening. Your commentary team, as always, myself, Mike Bullen on comments. Well, not always, because I did have a week off recently, but Luke Dugdale and Aaron Markham are both unfortunately tied up a little bit with work, but they will be joining us at some point in the very near future. But we are not too far, hopefully, from having my two co-coms join us and give us some wonderful insight. So just a quick view of the calendar. As you can see, we are on round 4 already. This season is flying by, almost at the halfway point, and we are on part of the American leg of the tour for C.O.T.A, and then next week it's the long endurance race at Watkins Glen. That'll be a great watch. But C.O.T.A it is this week, and this is the championship table as it stands. So Alex Kingston leading from Adam Foster by just 9 points at the moment. There's not a lot in it. Cassataris then a little bit further back on 191 points. Dominic Ingle, after what was an astounding performance last week, just mind-blowing in that Aston Martin, getting himself up to 4th in the championship now, yeah, from last to first last week, absolutely phenomenal. I can see Depressed Squid in the chat there. Hello, Mr. Squid, and thank you for joining us. I hope you're well, my friend. We haven't spoken it's been far too long since we've spoken, so we'll have to. I'll drop you a text after the racing. But yeah, that's where we are. Haven't unfortunately got up-to-date tables for the other two championships at the moment. I'm being a bit underprepared, should we say, this week, as I've been a very, very busy boy. So certain things I haven't been able to do. That is one of them, and the other one is a track guide. But I'm hoping our co-comments will join and we can do a nice on-board lap with somebody during qualifying and get that sort of on-board experience done for you. So yes, I haven't had time to do a track guide this week, which is a shame, because I do really enjoy doing them, and I enjoy getting a feel myself for what the drivers will be going through, although I don't quite have the talent of most of these guys. It is still great fun to do and take a look at. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's pop over to the race feed and take a look at how the guys are getting on. So you can see there's 16 drivers in the lobby tonight. We are expecting a smaller lobby this evening than we have been getting. We're normally around 24, 25 drivers, but we are expecting just under the 20 mark tonight. But there's still 8 minutes of practice left before we get into quali. So as you can see on your feed there, when somebody's name starts to flash in that sort of pinky purple colour, that means they're currently setting a lap time which is projected to be pole position. Obviously for practice it's not hugely important, but for qualifying, which will be coming up in just 8 minutes time or so, we will hopefully get some really exciting running, and yeah, lots of that purple flashing basically, which will give us lots of people challenging for pole position. So Depressed Squid just asking in the chat there, is Super Dom in today? I believe he is, but he's been tending to either join late into quali or miss quali altogether, because of life commitments, and then literally just joining for the race, which is what happened last week, as they say. He started 21st and drove through the field and won the race, which it was just absolutely outstanding to watch. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, guys, it's on our YouTube channel, which obviously you are on watching this right now. So go back and watch last week's race. Even if you just sort of skip through bits, you'll see Dom's progress, and it was just an unbelievable drive from him. Really, really good stuff. So just a little bit of an update for you. So we've got 33 degrees C today and a track temperature of 41 degrees. So there's going to be some cooked tyres out there today, I think is the polite way to say it. There's definitely going to be some drivers struggling with tyre heat, tyre wear. That's not going to be pleasant for the drivers. So getting the pressures right is also something which is going to be absolutely key. There's also an update regarding the ballast allocation for today. So just bear with me, I'm just finding that now. So Kingston being top of the championship, he carries 30 kilograms of ballast. Adam Foster 25 kilograms of ballast. Cass Tarish with 20 kilograms of ballast. Dom Ingle with 15 kilograms of ballast, and Mr. Mooney with 10 kilograms of ballast. And I believe Lloyd Reed is also carrying 10, as they are on the same point. So yeah, very, very hot for quali and race 1, and we're expecting 44, 45 degree track temperature. It might get a little bit cooler for race 2, but not by a lot. But it's going to be certainly interesting to see how the guys can cope with this. Yeah, so there will also obviously be the usual reverse grid situation for race 2, which means the top 5 do not qualify, and they will start at the back. the guys have been given extra time. So what we found is the guys have been under so much pressure trying to set a lap in such a short period that they've ended up not setting a time, which has then, of course, caused problems with this reverse grid situation. So the guys who've been given a bit of extra time, they've got to do a C.O.T.A lap, so they guaranteed a lap time. Okay, so the top 5 will then automatically be at the back, and once the C.O.T.A lap is done, then they can go for a full quali lap. So it guarantees those top 5 start at the back and gives us that guarantee for the reverse grid situation. Excuse me. So yeah, let's just take a look. We are, what are we, just a couple of minutes of practice left, so we'll just run through the drivers that we've got so far. Kevin DeHaan, who is a newcomer to the league this season, started out with the Porsche, dropped the Porsche after week 1, moved on to the Aston Martin, and he looks a changed man since. Was very competitive last week, and as I say that, of course, commentator curse kicks in, and into the wall he goes. Absolutely spot on with his timing. He must have known that I'd just clicked on his name. Lloyd Reed currently second. He's doing a good job. He's, as I said, does have a small amount of ballast on board, which shouldn't affect him too badly, but you know, it can affect the tyres, especially as we were saying with the track being so damn hot. Wes Bakehouse, he is third as it stands. He's done a 208.9, so 5/10 off first place man at the moment, but of course, practice, it's almost impossible to tell whether they're running, you know, quali setup, race setup, high fuel, low fuel, you know, whether they've got their pressures right yet. All this type of stuff is information that we don't know. So, you know, it is a bit of a guessing game with practice times, but it's more for the drivers just to get into the groove and get a feel for it before they start their qualifying session. And as I say that, the session has been finished and qualifying does start. So I'm just going to return to the correct mode and get out there. So who is going out on track? There we go. Mr. Foster is there. Ash Humphrey's still in the pits. Darrell Weaver's leaving the pits as it stands. Casatarish is also out. Rich Arnold going out as well in his Honda. That guarantees him at least 60% of the screen time this evening, because I'm a massive Honda nut. I am, of course, joking. But yeah, we'll just watch now as Foster makes his way around, and then we'll jump on board and see how he gets on his first flying lap. So of course the situation I was just talking about not qualifying and you know, setting a slightly lap, that's all for qualifying 2, for race 2, to give us that reverse grid situation. So this one is just full bore, fastest man wins. So that is what we have to look forward to. So Foster just making his way down the back straight at the moment. See Casatara saying not too far behind him in his Ferrari. So Foster has run 3 cars over the 3 seasons so far. BMW in season 1, and he's in the McLaren now this season. And he's a double champion. He's won both championships, but he's under huge pressure to defend that championship this season, with Kingston and Casatarish having joined the league, looking extremely competitive, and that is great to see, because that's exactly what we want to see, is these guys being proper challenged. So here we go then, last couple of corners for Mr. Foster, and we'll jump on board with Helmer Cam. It's not quite as dramatic as the one you see in F1 with all the bouncing up and down and the bad view, but it gives us as good a view as we can get. So here Foster goes in, up the start, finish straight and across the timing line to start his lap. Uphill, hard on the brakes, really good braking zone uphill, but always just missed the apex there, but he gets the car turned in for turn 1 and down towards the S's, and flat out all the way through the first part of it. And then you are just scrubbing off a little bit of speed per corner for these twisty bits. just down, drop a cog, down, drop a cog, and then hold in the power. And then you've got this tight left-hander which can be deceptively slow. You can very easily try to carry too much speed through this section. And then you've got this left-hander, then flat on the throttle, down then through the left-hander towards the back straight, which is longer than most circuits, and hard on the brakes, then down to first gear, get the car turned in. You want to be back on the throttle for obvious reasons as soon as you physically can. You do not want to delay any acceleration down this long straight, because this is where you can make up and lose so much time on this circuit. And then you want to be pick your braking zone, hard on the brakes just as the rumble strip, just as the tarmac changes colour there on the right, and get the car turned in. Nice front end on this McLaren. Down again to first. Lots of first gear corners on this track, which you don't see in a lot of circuits. It's a really challenging technical track. Through the right hander, then the double left hander, and again back on the power nice and early. And down you've got then the triple right hander. 1, 2 and 3 apexes all the way down to the penultimate corner. Get the car turned in, carry as much speed as you can, try not to run it wide and invalidate your lap. And then the last corner, down to second, down to first, back on the power, and down the start finish straight towards the finish line. And it's a 208.3 is the opening lap, and that was a lap of Circuit of the Americas there from Foster. But C.O.T.A has immediately beaten his time by just a 1/10 of a second. You can see the fastest lap flashing up on screen there for you guys at home. And yeah, great lap. And Kingston now has gone up into pole position with a 207.8, a fantastic time, and that puts him 4/10 ahead of his nearest challenger. Kingston has been absolutely phenomenal this season, but he's been beaten by Wes Bakehouse, and Wes with nowhere near the same level of ballast that Kingston has, and that may well play an advantage around this track with the heat that is in the surface of the tarmac. That'll affect the tyres, and of course weight is not going to help that, so that may well play a part with Kingston's time. But Bakehouse taking top spot. So Kingston is second, C.O.T.A is third, Foster fourth at the moment, Lloyd Reed in fifth, Paul Prescott up in sixth place at the moment, but quite a few people yet to set a time. Rich Arnold down in seventh with a 2:10. That's not quite on the pace of the top guys at the moment, but it's still very much early doors. Ash Humphreys has just popped himself in that beautiful Gulf livery McLaren up into sixth. Again, he's nearly 2 seconds off the pace, so I'm expecting him to improve from that, struggling a little bit in these opening exchanges. Mark Shepherd has done a 2:16, but he's just finding his feet at the moment. Guido Montagnino is a new driver this evening, and he is yet to set a time. But looking forward to seeing what he's got. Bartonks is back with us. He's in the Ferrari 33 again. He's got lots of pace in that Ferrari this season, but he has struggled a little bit for consistency. So we will see how Bart gets on tonight, and wishing him luck. Hopefully he can have a really strong race out there. So we're still waiting for the bottom few drivers to set a time. Like I say, not the greatest of attendance tonight, but we do still have 16 drivers out there ready to battle it out, and hopefully some will be joining at some point during qualification. But Bakehouse is still top, and he has done a 2:07.455. So Alex Kingston nearly 4/10 off that as it stands, but Bakehouse showing as purple at the moment, as you'll see on your screen. So he's flashing purple, which means he is improving on his time. We've got a couple of white flags out there for C.O.T.A and Lloyd Reed as well, and Montagnino. they appear to be clearing, so probably just going slowly and allowing other people past or heading back to the pits. But looks like Wes is the man to beat so far. So he is still top of the tree, and he is improving on this lap. Kingston also improving, but not by enough to take that position from Bakehouse. Bakehouse a little bit out position in the championship, as he is he's had a DNF, so he's down in 9th, so he carries no ballast at the moment, and that should hopefully tonight be to his advantage. He had to retire last week, which would have cost him loads of points, but I do believe the drivers will get a dropped score available to them next season. So Bakehouse showing on my timing screens just 2/10 up on his time at the moment, which will be pretty formidable to beat. But Alex Kingston is 3/10 up on his time as well, so it is a bit to and froing going on. It's very difficult to see who is going to finish where, but it'll probably come down to the last lap. We've still got 5.5 minutes of quali left, which is enough time for 3 laps if they were to cross the finish line right now, as you can finish your lap if and Wes has clearly made a mistake there and abandoned the lap as Kingston starts another lap, looking to challenge. There's lots of traffic out there. You can see Damien Humphries there just getting out of the way. Damien Humphries currently finds himself in 5th position. Fantastic lap from him, right on the speed of the top guys, so he'll be delighted with that lap, and currently out qualifying his brother, who is in 7th. So great lap there from Damien Humphries, absolutely fantastic stuff. Just looking, so Rich Arnold's still in 9th, and he has improved on his time, but Paul Prescott's still ahead of him at the moment. Michael Mooney's got himself in 10th, Darrell Weaver's in 11th, Dan Stevens down in 12th, Guido Montagnino is in 13th, Mark Shepherd 14th, Bart Tonks 15th, Kevin DeHaan is yet to set a time. Maybe he's leaving it too late, and I'm delighted to say that Dominic Ingle has made it into the lobby. Super Dom, as Depressed Squid referred to him as, he's made it in. He's back in that Aston, and like I say, if you did not see Dom's performance last week, please go and give it a watch. It was absolutely astounding. Just how much overtaking he got done. He was superb. He didn't qualify, started in 21st and won the race, and it was Max/Lewis/Michael-esque in terms of when they've been dominant, in much better cars. But of course, these cars with the balance of performance are all pretty even, so you've got to give a lot of kudos to the driver in that situation. So Wes still showing as first place. Kingston, as it stands, still unable to eat into that. He has ate into it just a little bit, but still not enough to take pole, but he's still going to have another go at it. Adam Foster quite a bit further back then on a 208 flat, and then Casatarish with a 208.2. So those two struggling a bit more with the track temperature, tire temperature and ballast than Kingston is. But Bakehouse, as I say, being ballast free due to that retirement last week, has got a good chance of getting a really good result. Really good result in this race. So Mark Shepherd just flashed up as purple then temporarily. I wonder if he was... Oh, he's just started the lap, okay. I was going to say he flashed up as purple, which would have meant that he was on for a pole lap, but he's only just started the lap. So we won't get too excited just yet, but he is quite a bit up on his time, just through the first few corners. So we might see a big improvement here from Shepherd. He needs to find 3 seconds, though, to jump 1 position up at the moment. Bart Tonks yet to set a time. Dominic Ingle yet to set a time. And Kevin De Haan is still in the pits, so it looks like De Haan is not going to qualify. He's not going to make it back out in time, I don't think. No, he's definitely not now, because there's less than a lap's time left, which is a huge shame. But De Haan should be competitive in that Aston Martin from the pits. So where are we? Just Jumbo and Dom Ingle is looking to set his first time. Is he going to be competitive enough? He is carrying ballast, remember, so he might not be quite on Wes's pace. Can he match Alex Kingston's pace? He certainly had him covered for pace last week, but different track, different conditions, and different situation with ballast this week as well. So let's see what happens. So here comes Dom Ingle then through the last few corners. He is just making his way through the penultimate one now. Left-hander, carry as much speed as he can, as I said earlier. Carry out wide to the curb. And hard on the brakes, down through the gears, through the last corner and back on the power. And up to cross the line. And puts himself fourth with a 207.8. Foster has improved on his time in the meantime and done a 207.7, so he's still ahead of Ingle at the moment, but the gap between the top four drivers is 3.5 tenths of a second at the moment, so proper close. But anybody who is now on a lap will have the opportunity to improve. Beerkhouse is showing that he's well up on his time, and he is a 207.1 for Beerkhouse. He crosses the line, that's it for him. Now 207.1, absolutely outstanding. Kingston's in the pits, Foster's in the pits. Ingle half a second up on his time at the moment, 6 tenths up. That first lap was just getting the tyres in the right condition. Oh, he's lost a little bit of time at the moment, but he's roughly half a second up. He could be looking really good for second, or maybe even pole position if he can absolutely nail the remainder of this lap. He needs 7 tenths to be able to take pole position, and he's currently 6 tenths up. So let's see if Dom has got enough pace. This is the view from the driver's helmet. Hard on the brakes down to first gear, turn it in straight on the power. Through the right-handers. And then you got 2 little kinks left and a hard left. Such a technical part of the circuit, really difficult. At the moment he's showing us purple. He's just gone green again. He just made a little mistake. He's on the verge of it. Oh, he's lost more time. Now he's gaining a bit more time back, and the timing screen's all over the place. Ingle on the verge of pole here, but has he got what it takes through the last few corners? He's 6 tenths up, which is right on the cusp of where he needs to be. If 7 tenths now, he's showing us purple. 8 tenths. It looks like he might well take pole on the line. Dominic Ingle crosses the line. He does take pole position. Right at the death of the session, Dominic Ingle comes into it and takes pole position. And are we seeing the birth here of a proper championship contention from Dominic Ingle after last week's drive from last? This week coming into quali at the last possible second and gets himself pole position with only 2 laps of running done, whereas everybody else was out there for the whole session. That was absolutely outstanding to watch. A cracking lap there from Dominic Ingle. I believe we're joined in the comms box by Mr. Richard Arnold. I think I can see his little name there, sat in my little window. How are you, Richard?
I'm very well, my friend. How is your little window today?
My little window is lovely, thank you very much. It's been worse. Yeah, all good. Great session there. Plenty of speed. Very quick in 2 ways from Dom there. Quick because he didn't have a lot of time to get that lap done, but because he joined so late, and then sticks it on pole. But from your point of view, how's the Honda faring around this track?
It's a struggle. It's not enjoyable, to say the least. It's it's a handful around here. I'm not expecting big points today. Just through sheer the crests and the blind corners, the blind apexes. You know, the back end wants to step out everywhere you go. It's just a really tricky track. And yeah, how Dom managed to do that, it's almost like that film, isn't it? Like, we need to talk about Dom, because we need to stop him somehow. The guy's unstoppable at the moment, but that was an incredible lap. But yeah, in my point of view tonight, I think it's going to be damage limitation more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, is it the heat, or is it just characteristics of the track not suiting the car?
I think the heat plays a part, don't get me wrong, but it's the S's are so hard to control with the Honda around here. You've got to literally tiptoe it round, otherwise it just wants to veer off. And the track limits are so strict around here. Like, you can be half an inch the wrong side of the line, and it will do you. So look out for a lot of drive-throughs tonight. I think a lot of people are going to be going off track limits just because they're so strict, and it's just a really tricky track. Really tricky track. Yeah,
that's a good insight, though. It's good to know that we'll keep an eye on that. And I mean, hopefully, we won't get too many, but it could mix things up a bit and give us something sexy to watch. But sprint race, good luck and enjoy. I can see Adam has joined us as well. Adam, welcome. And fourth position there for you. You're carrying quite a lot of ballast tonight. Did that play a part in your time there?
Yeah, the ballast and the heat. The heat plays a big part in the tracks, so yeah, it's a bit of a struggle, and McLaren doesn't like the curbs, as you know, so yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And like Rich said, it's drive-through central here, so half the field maybe get one.
10 seconds.
Yeah, well, that would be a lot of drive-through penalties to manage, but thank God there's no actual race director. I think he'd need a day off, but it's shaping up to be an exciting one. Like I say, there's plenty of ballast at the front. That's going to impact on tyre wear, so good battling, gentlemen. Good luck to you, and we will catch you in about 40 minutes' time.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
So I believe I'm joined now in the commentary box by one of my co-commentators who's made it home from work, Dougie. How are we, my friend?
Good evening. Not too bad. I just fought my way through good traffic and made it just back for race one.
There we are. He's just made it. Absolutely perfect timing, my friend. So yeah, you've just made it, and are you dialing in your software, or are you just going off what you can see?
I will do if you have got
yeah,
details.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. The guys are just on their formation lap. Don't panic. It's not that the race has started and we're not calling the action. I just need to give my co-commentator my IP address so he can link in his software. So bear with me just a moment while I do that. There will be just a moment of silence. There we go. No, that's sorted. I can talk again. Yeah. So sorry. I'm a typical male in that respect. In that doing two things at once is quite difficult for me. So apologies for that. But anyway, yeah. Welcome, Doug. And so Dominic Ingle. Last week, I don't know if you managed to catch the action after missing the race last week, but last week he drove from last to first and won the race. And this week he's joined quali with about 30 seconds left and put himself on pole. So he's got a bit of a last-minute hero sort of tag at the moment, but an absolutely superb qualifying session there. It looked like it was between Wes Bakehouse and Kingston for pole, with Foster just a little bit too far back. But all of a sudden Dominic Ingle pops himself up onto pole position. So that was the situation we find ourselves in. A great lap, just reiterate, from Damien Humphries, out-qualifying his brother, up in 7th position. So this could be a good track for Damo. And as you will have heard there, the driver's expecting a lot of drive-through. So if somebody like Damo or Michael Mooney or Paul Prescott or Richard Arnold can keep it clean and other people are getting drive-throughs, could be some real good points on offer in this first sprint race. This first sprint race is 40 minutes, as you can see from the timing screen at the top of your screens at home, guys. And the second sprint race will be, as we said earlier, top 5 don't qualify, reverse grid situation, and 20-minute gung-ho sprint race right at the end of the night. So we got that to look forward to in the coming moments. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we have got a fantastic 40-minute first sprint race to come. So have you done much running around C.O.T.A, Dougie?
I don't think I ever have gone around C.O.T.A. I'm not gonna lie, so I don't know much about it at all.
Yeah, it's a very good track. It's very technical. It's kind of, I don't know, my feeling is it's basically like Spa and Silverstone combined. So it's got lots of high speed, but also lots of technical. It's a tricky SOB to get right. But it'll be a real challenge for the guys. The track temperature is 44 degrees centigrade, so those tyres are going to be absolutely screaming out for relief in no time at all. But we are just about to get going. Oh, Ash Humphries has had wheel issues. Oh, and he's back in the pit lane. Ash Humphries' wheel has given up. He's just put in the chat that it's given up, and we've got a green light, and his foot flat to the floor, and away we go down towards the first corner. Great start from Birkhouse, but he is on the outside for the first corner, so all Dom needs to do is be a little bit later on the brakes and carry the speed, and there he goes and carries himself back up into first position. Birkhouse back down to second. Kingston staying out of that and just letting these guys battle away. And we can see Foster still in fourth there, Castarish fifth, Lloyd Reed in sixth, Damien Humphries holding on to seventh, Prescott up to eighth now, Mooney ninth. Ash Humphries' wheel has given up in the middle of the formation lap, which means he is now either in the pit lane or starting from the pit. He had started from the pit lane, so he is back in the race, but he's got a long way to catch up in not a lot of time at all. So here we go then. Dominic Ingle still leading from Wes Birkhouse, from Alex Kingston. And Damien Humphries has got up past Lloyd Reed. So we've got a very early replay. Let's just take a quick look back and see that move. We don't get to see many overtakes, so we want to make the most of them. And let's take a look at this one, Dougie. See how he gets this done.
You also now have my 100% concentration. Everything is now set up. So,
That's right. I thought I'd talk nonsense and give you a moment to catch up. But, oh, yeah, Damo just much later on the brakes into the braking zone for the hairpin, probably not quite the right word, but a very sharp left. And gets himself ahead of Lloyd. Great overtake there from Damo.
Yeah. Textbook, I would say, but very well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And kudos to him. He gets himself up into sixth. So, yeah, the driver's saying then that the track limits are so strict around here. In the heat of battle, they're expecting to see quite a lot of track limits abuse, which we will keep an eye on and let people know. You can already see, excuse me, those exclamation marks coming up on your screen there. That is when people have track limits abuse or make contact with each other. That is what that means. So if you see a driver with an exclamation mark next to them, that is why. So yeah, Ash Humphries is 10 seconds off the back of the field at the moment. I expect him to close that down. It's a question of how many positions he can make up, if any at all. So it looks like there's been a bit of contact between Dan Stevens and Bart Tonks. Let's just take a look here. So, oh, yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. Doug he sort of slowed down for the corner, and Bart thought, nah, I'm going to hit you up the chuff.
It was a bit strange, that one. I'm not too sure what's going on there.
No, a bit weird. I'm not saying it was intentional. It could have just been he missed his braking point, or he's having issues with his brakes or something. But yeah, just a rather strange one, especially for such an early point in the race. But there we go. It is what it is. So Stevens is now down to 16th then, with Ash Humphries closing down on him to make his way back up through the field. Absolutely devastating for Ash, who qualified in 8th position, but his wheel packed in on the formation lap and he had to start from the pit lane, which is a huge shame. But we are now once again watching the battle for the lead. Ingle against Birkhouse against Kingston. Foster and Castarish battling with each other, have dropped a little bit off the back of these guys. So yeah, Bakehouse looked super quick last week. Doug, I know you missed last week's race, but he had to retire, and then, as I said, Dom battled his way from last to first, having not
Dom a man
qualified.
to watch tonight.
Yeah, well, he was dominant. Whee!
Hey, there we go.
But yeah, we had to get a dad joke in there somewhere. But yeah, what I'm saying is these two guys were both super fast last week. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top tonight, won't it?
Definitely. I think C.O.T.A has consistently been fast. Not saying Dom hasn't been, but definitely thinking from what you're saying last week, Dom showed how fast he really is. And C.O.T.A has been more consistent, I wouldn't necessarily say.
Yeah, he certainly has. And him and Foster having a good old ding-dong there in the background as well. You've got Kingston there, the championship leader, stuck in the middle of these. The ballast punishing him a little bit tonight, but again, that is exactly what it is designed to do, is make it harder for the faster guys and give other people a chance to challenge. We don't just want to see the same people winning over and over again. But so far, it is Dom ahead of Wes. And Kingston just taking a look up the inside of Big House. He just backs out of it. And there's contact! Contact from Wes. And Wes made contact last week. Just to let you know, he retired after making contact with Foster last week. So if you missed that, folks,
He's back in the background there. They took each other out after going mess. Wes came back on and they all took each other out again.
Oh, what an absolute nightmare! Bart Tonks was involved in that. He's decided to retire. Let's just go back and see if we can see that as it happened. So this is just a replay. So Wes has had his contact and he's in the middle of the track. You can see in the background there. And
it looks like Wes rejoins and then the green and purple Mercedes.
No, so yeah, Prescott, I think it was, made contact with Arnold, and then Bart just came round the corner. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out. And Bart just came round the corner, not expecting them to be there, and all of a sudden they were. Sorry, I was stuck on Bart Tonks' car then. I couldn't move on, but it's suddenly started working again now. Oh, that's a huge shame. But yeah, Wes, 2 weeks in a row now, he's made contact with a front-running car, and yeah, it's definitely out of character for Wes. He's such a consistent, fast driver. It's so unusual to see him making these kinds of mistakes. It's a huge shame.
But without signing off, I suppose he didn't take out the leader, which is he kind of calls himself a mess, but obviously he calls mess further back. But I mean, as in
where it
happened. It
yeah, that's what I mean. It happened last week. Him and Foster were battling for the lead, and he took Foster and himself out of it. So that's what happened last week. So. But yeah, you're right. At least that hasn't happened again this week. But and also, who did he hit? Foster, didn't he? Yeah. So no, he hit Dom, didn't he? Sorry, he hit Dom, which but like I say, at least he hasn't taken him out of it. But yeah, that's like I say, huge shame. Such a out of character for Wes, who's such a fast, consistent driver. But shows the pressure these guys put themselves under, doesn't it? And everybody cracks at some point.
Definitely. I think even today, I was seeing in the chat, there was a lot of expectation on Wes to do well tonight as well, which maybe hasn't helped. I don't know. If I was to make a guess.
It can. We know this is in quotation marks only sim racing, but it means the world to us. As drivers and.
Free riding sort of corner.
Yeah, absolutely cracking racing from these guys, but they just all fall back into line. Again, let's just take a quick look at the replay and see what that looked like. So you've got Kingston battling Foster, and then C.O.T.A in the background saying, "Cheers, boys, I'll have a little go at you as well." So Kingston gets up the inside of Foster. Foster just carries a bit more speed as he had a wider line through there, and then C.O.T.A trying to take a look, but they all fall back into line. Nice and sensible, and no issues there. So
back to you, what you said about sim racing. These boys put time and effort, and I think anything you put this amount of time and effort into means a lot to you.
Yeah, and like I say, it's the closest that any of us are ever going to becoming real racing drivers for the most part. So we do take it seriously. Yes, it's fun, it's a hobby, and it's enjoyable, but at the same time, we're all very passionate about it. So just watching Ash Humphries as he makes a move past Shepherd, and quite an unusual place to make a move stick, but he does, and he's got himself up to 12th position already after starting from the pit lane. So good little move there from Mr. Humphries. And these boys are having a good old ding dong here, and look at this, they've 4 cars all battling for position. Humphries has made a mistake which has put him off the circuit and has lost him a load of time, so he's back in this battle now where he was well ahead of it. And a little note as well to Kevin DeHaan, who started in 16th and already on lap 4 finds himself up in 5th place. Absolutely outstanding stuff from Kevin DeHaan, but we did say he'd be one to watch due to the speed of that Aston this season. But 3 wide, they go down into the braking zone. They all think it's their corner. They all think they've got right to racing room. That was outstanding driving from all 3 of them. No contact. A little rub there, but Humphries comes off the better of it, and Lloyd Reed gets squeezed a little bit wide and ends up losing out to Mooney, but I think he's okay. Actually, he's got that position back. But DeHaan and Humphries still battling away for this 5th position. The Aston is the faster of the 2 cars, generally speaking, but then Humphries not letting it go, battling right around the outside of there, and just takes the inside line for the next corner. And outstanding work from Humphries in the Lexus RCF, which incidentally is the next car I'm looking to buy. But there we are, that's another story for another day. They're just lush. But yeah, why wouldn't you want a V8 with 480 horsepower? You'd be crazy not to. But anyway, back to the racing, and DeHaan will come back and battle again with Humphries. Lloyd Reed and Mooney are still... there's been contact. Michael Mooney has had some contact in the background. Let's just take a look at the replay and see what happened. It's gone back a little bit too far. Oh well, there we go. We'll have to watch a bit more of it. We'll go up to helicams. Hopefully we'll get a good view of what occurs. So you can see Bakehouse there in the background. Mooney hard on the brakes. Just makes contact with Lloyd Reed. I just got his braking wrong, I think, in the turbulent air. Yeah, he just made that a little bit different. And Humphries has lost a few positions now. He's down in 8th, so let's take another look at the replay and see if we can see what happened. Humphries spinning off the circuit, and it looks like it was just a mistake, so he's lost quite a few positions because of that. That is a huge shame. Humphries was having such a good race, up in 5th position, but he's down in 8th now. Still plenty of time in this race though for him to fight his way back up. Kingston has made his way past Foster. I don't think we're going to get to see the move. No, it's just skipped away at the wrong time. Sorry, the replay's decided to have a bad day at the office. But Kingston has made his way up past Foster. But these guys now 4.5 seconds behind your race leader, Dominic Ingle. While they've all been battling away, he's just stretched his advantage. He's also got the fastest lap of the race with a 207.6 at the moment. So Ash Humphries has just got past another McLaren in the form of Darrell Weavers. Let's take a look. Here's Humphries down into the braking zone, later on the brakes. And I think you called it textbook earlier, my friend, and that's as textbook as it gets. Yeah, you don't get much easier than that, really, do you?
No, definitely. And again, use the phrase, as you said before, textbook.
Indeed. Let's just keep an eye on this. Foster hasn't given... a little bit of a glitch there. Somebody disappeared and then came back, but okay. Seems to have sorted itself out wherever it was. And, this is a game, so you will have the odd bit of glitch, but Foster is still challenging Kingston, so we didn't get a chance to see the replay of it, so I wonder whether Foster made a mistake or whether Kingston is outpacing Foster. Difficult to tell because he's sticking with him, isn't he?
Yeah, it's certainly not. Kingston certainly isn't pulling away, so be interesting to see if Foster can make a move. It looks like he was looking at a corner before.
Yeah, he's certainly looking to challenge, but nothing as of yet. So we are, 15 minutes almost into the first of the sprint races. So we'll just have a quick run through the field. So Dominic Ingle qualified on pole. Oh, I just noticed Kingston going way wide in the background there. Oh, he's gained a position from that. Is he going to give that position back to Foster? Because I would say he's gained a position outside the race circuit there. He does concede the position. He does the right thing. Yeah, that would have been a little bit naughty, but he does exactly the right thing. Concedes the position because he did gain it from being off the race circuit. So Michael Mooney has made his way past Damien Humphries. Let's just have a quick look back and see how that happened. So Humphries defending into the twisty technical part of the circuit, just gets his brake in a little bit wrong, and Michael Mooney says cheers boy, and up he goes. So yeah, the guys were saying they were expecting a lot of track limits abuse tonight, and potentially some drive-through penalties for doing it more than 3 times. We haven't seen any as of yet. We're nearly coming up towards the halfway point, so we'll keep an eye on it. But as it stands then, with 24 minutes to go, Dominic Ingle is your race leader, qualified on pole and still out there. Oh, hits the curb really hard there. You've got to be careful not to do that. You will damage your suspension. Adam Foster is still in second. Kingston is in third, Casatarish in fourth. Really close between those 3 drivers for that second place at the moment. Kevin DeHaan has worked his way from 16th position up to 5th. Great drive from him so far. Lloyd Reed, who's been in the wars a bit and had a bit of contact with a few drivers, but not his fault, but finds himself in 6th position at the moment, under pressure from Wes Beekhouse, who was challenging for the lead of this race, and he's made a mistake, 2nd week in a row, big mistake from him, and it's meant that he ended up basically down in 10th or 11th position, I think it was, and he's now fighting his way back through the field. He'll be hoping maybe just to finish 6th to get as many points as possible, but if he finishes outside the top 5 and in 6th, it means he can qualify for race 2, so maybe that is now his target after that early error. Michael Mooney, who we just saw overtaking Damien Humphries, they're in 8th and 9th. Rich Arnold holding station in 10th at the moment. He's made 1 position in this race, and he's 4.5 seconds ahead of Ash Humphries, who is quicker as it stands and may well close that gap down in the coming laps. Darrell Weaver's in 12th. Guido Montagnino, sorry, that is a mouthful for me. He is currently in 13th on his debut. Mark Shepherd in 14th, Dan Stevens in 15th, Prescott in 16th after early issues, and Bart Tonks down in last place. So that is where we stand. Any surprises stand out for you in terms of position at the moment, Doug? Coming up to the halfway point?
I'm struggling because my software has thrown up a fit, so I can't see all the positions. But I think people are where you kind of expect, especially at the front. You've got Foster, Kingston, Dom. I think it's the usual suspects. I think I was expecting Wes to be up there tonight, just off what the chat was saying. But as you were saying, I think he's struggling a bit with obviously making contact. And as you said, it's out of character, so that's probably what's hindering his results a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's got to try and fight his way back through now, but I mean, he's certainly not going to be in a position to challenge for the win now, as he's a good 20 seconds off the lead. But you know, like I say, if he gets himself up into 6th, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. But Kingston and Foster once again battling away here. C.O.T.A giving us some great entertainment so far. These guys having a good old ding-dong, but Kingston not yet able to make a nice clean move stick. But it looks like he's got the better of Foster through this twisty section, and this is where you can carry a lot more speed if you can use the curbs. And as we heard Foster saying earlier, wasn't it, Aaron? The McLaren can't use the curbs, whereas the Aston Martin can, so that's why he's got such an advantage through this section.
Is Aaron here?
Oh, did I say Aaron? I meant Dougie.
Oh, sorry. I was like, you really threw me off, and I was like,
sorry, mate.
He was like, oh yeah, Aaron. I was like, what?
Sorry, mate.
Oh,
I was on autopilot. Sorry, mate.
No, it's fine, don't worry.
No, I was just saying. Obviously, it's evident that, like Foster said, he can't use the curbs in the McLaren, and that's why the Aston's so much quicker through those twisty sections where it can.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose you can, if you're in the Aston, you can attack a bit more and drive more aggressively, I suppose. Whereas in the McLaren, you've got to be a bit more careful. And I think Foster's quite good at being a careful driver, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he is, and that felt a little bit like calling your ex-girlfriend's name to your current girlfriend in bed. That did, but that was a bit naughty. I apologise, but yes.
You confused me. I thought I was like, it's Aaron appeared, and I've just not realised Aaron's been here the whole time.
No, it's just me being a total pleb. But yeah, he does. Foster, sorry, back to your point, does tend to be quite a good being a careful driver. Sorry, we're just seeing Reed and Beerhouse having a good old battle now for 6th position, which in these sprint races, almost as we were saying, you know, is almost a coveted position because it's the highest points place you can finish without having to qualify at the back for the next race. So, you know, it's almost like best of the rest, I guess, isn't it, Doug?
Definitely, you get to start the second race. Well, not necessarily from the front. If you qualify high enough, you get to start from the front. But as we know, drivers aren't allowed to tactically finishing up race, so we can't put our tinfoil hats on tonight.
Oh no, I'm not saying, but you know, with the situation, the way it is. But yes, no, certainly no tinfoil hats or you know, conspiracy theories happening here. But it is probably a coveted position, I would guess, for the rest of the field. In that there's a lot to be had from that position. Oh, going over the sausage curbs there, that's not going to help Lloyd, and Wes just trying to take a look, and he's got the inside line. Has he got enough to get up alongside Lloyd? He throws the car through there. You can see the back end stepping out, but Lloyd Reed, nice and composed, hangs on to that 6th position. But Wes will try again. Sorry, say that again.
He slammed the door shut there.
Slammed the door shut, that's a very good way of putting it. But he lives to fight another day, and I'm sure Wes will try again on this lap. He's probably driving a little bit frustrated after that big mistake, I guess. You know, I know I would be. What do you think?
Definitely, I think I fell victim to that many times, getting frustrated. Frustration and anger does not go well with sim racing, especially, I think, ACC as well. I don't think you can really drive angrily. Touring cars is a bit different because you can actually drive quite aggressive and get away with it, but not necessarily in a Assetto Corsa.
Yeah, totally. I mean, with touring cars, you know, you're almost encouraged to throw the car around a bit and try and get the better of it. Oh, he's trying to have a look there. Oh, but he backs out of it again. That was brave. It was a big move, but I think he was aware that he wasn't quite going to make it stick. But he certainly had a little look. See,
gone wide.
Oh, Lloyd has gone wide, and that has given the position. But perhaps that was Wes's plan all along. It's just given enough of pressure and enough of awareness of him being there. Oh, sorry, I just skipped over to the replay, and then that happened. So that was where Wes made the move, and then Lloyd just gets that wrong there, and took the first part of that too tightly, which pushed him wide through the next corner. And then we may see that there's a bit of a mistake coming up. I don't know if we've got enough of a replay left.
Just as he goes onto the curbs.
Yeah, so he's hit the sausage curbs again, gone a little bit wide, and that has forced him to spin. So bit of a nightmare couple of corners there from Lloyd Reed. Uncharacteristic from him as well, because he's been hugely consistent in the previous races, both last season and this season. But bit of a short. Has Zuber in the chat suggesting that I should call Montagnino Monty for short, because I can't say Montagnino, which I can't say it once I've said it once. It sort of sticks in my head. But Montagnino, there we go. So I've got it. I think I'll get it, Zuber. But if not, if I haven't got it by next week, we'll stick to Monty for short. That'll do the trick, I'm sure. But yes, so where are we? We are still Dominic Engel dominating out in front now, 6.5 seconds ahead of Adam Foster. Dom now making himself absolutely a championship contender, and looking like he does have the ability to challenge Foster and Kingston for this championship, which is very encouraging for us to see, as it looked like it was going to be a bit of a 3-horse race between Foster, Kingston and Casatarish, and Dom Ingle has now joined that race. And cheers, Zuba, for your comment. He said he admires my determination to get it right. I just don't give up. But yeah, it's great to see. I mean, this is becoming a 4-way battle for the championship, isn't it, Doug? Which I think you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, definitely. I think 4-way battle for the championship. I don't think. Ooh, bit of a mistake, got wrong there. I don't think anyone can complain at that, and you'll struggle to get any more drivers into a battle for the championship. Where if you look at the current BTCC at the minute, that's got what 5-way battle for the championship, so you can't really get much better unless you really do start. I don't know how you could even bring the people who are out of that battle into the battle, because you can't have everyone fighting for that one position.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be stuff like the reverse grid we got coming up. It's going to be who can carve their way through the field cleanly and make up the most positions in races like that are really going to make the difference this season. That is going to be telling. Very similar to touring cars in that fashion. Ooh. Oh, a little spin there from Casatarish, and again uncharacteristic from him. And Dehaan takes that position now. He finds himself up in 4th place. So Casatarish with just a little spin. Very unusual. Looked a little bit like one of those slow motion ones. You just can't stop once it starts. Let's just take a look at how it looked on board. Oh, he clipped the curb. So again, it's another example of a mid-engine car clipping the curb, and those little sausage curbs, and causing him issues. So that is basically what happened. So it's evident they can't use the curbs as much as they would like to, those mid-engine cars, can they? And
no.
It's punishing them. So they need
silly sausages, eh?
Yeah, silly sausages indeed. Terrible dad jokes tonight, as usual. You came for the racing, you stayed for the comedy. We're here all week. Well, we're here tonight anyway. But we've been speaking a little bit about touring cars. So just make your way touring car racing once again next Wednesday. It says there, because I haven't updated it, about a Twitch link, but it's not Twitch anymore. We are on YouTube, so find TCSRL on YouTube and give us a subscribe. And our usual commentator Andrew Pauly will be returning from next week. So watch our Race Room Touring Car League, and Andrew Pauly will be back in the comms box. I am retiring from comms for that league and getting back into the driver's seat, and I'm already excited to get back into my number 88 Honda and finish last. But ironically, my first race back is Brands Indy, which I absolutely despise with every fibre of my being. I love the Grand Prix track at Brands, but I cannot stand the Indy circuit. I find it extremely annoying, mostly because I'm rubbish at it. But there we go. That's just me.
2 big returns, a big name commentator, and a driver as well.
Yeah.
Double whammy there. Buy one, get one free.
Yeah, exactly. That's we give value for money in this league. So bog off indeed. Dom's still well out in front. Foster 7 seconds off him now, so Dom has got this one covered, barring any huge errors. We are 28.5 minutes into this race. We've got 11.5 to go. Humphrey's in the pits. Oh, so I wonder if it's not a drive-through, is it? I haven't seen anything come up, but he's in the pits. It might be a drive-through.
We've got a Zenzinger back.
Terrible joke.
That was awful.
Well, he is just driving straight through, mind. But it's not showing he's got a drive-through on my software, so yeah, very difficult to tell. But yeah, through the pits he goes. Very strange.
Scenic group.
Oh no, it's just come up. It's flashed up. He did get a drive-through, so Humphreys and Bart Tonks have both had drive-through penalties for track limits. Sorry, it just took a little while to refresh, so that was, just to confirm, for a drive-through. So Rich Arnold is now up into 10th position again after losing it out, and Humphreys has done well, hasn't he, considering he started from the pit lane in 17th. He's up to 9th, so good drive from him, and obviously special mention again to Kevin DeHaan, who started in 16th and finds himself in 4th. Great drive from both those drivers, Doug.
Definitely, yeah. It's very impressive, especially to start from a pit lane and then end up in 9th. Impressive drive. And then DeHaan again. Where did you say he started again? Was it
16th?
In the teams, wasn't it? 16th.
Yeah, so he was last. He last apart from Ash, who was in the pits. So
yeah, and to drive up way to 4th, it's. But if you look at, as you were saying yesterday for the last race, Ingle did the same last week. So it was much credit to DeHaan. Obviously, it's 4th to 1st. It's a big difference, but. Obviously, still credit to DeHaan, because if Ingle does it and it's impressive, it's same for DeHaan.
Yeah, totally. Still, credit where it's due. And DeHaan's best lap was a 28 flat. Only Ingle's faster than him on the circuit, so he's doing a superb job. And he has looked at different drivers as he dropped the Porsche and went over to the Aston. So the car appears to suit him a lot better from what we can see.
Definitely, I think even Foster last season ran in a Porsche and struggled, I think, a bit. Obviously, Foster never really struggles, but I think it was hard work for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, not a lot to report in terms of action. Closest cars on the track at the moment are still Kingston and Foster. These two just won't leave each other alone. It's like two dogs in a park. Once one sees the other one, they just want to play and play and play.
And they're sniffing a rear end all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's doing. I mean, the Aston is just sat there sniffing the butt of the McLaren. I mean, there are worse back ends than that McLaren in the world, so there are worse things to be stuck behind, but there we go. And, Kingston looking like he's trying to have a go around the outside. Foster goes very defensive. Is that going to compromise his line? Oh, he goes wide, really wide. Foster was offline and probably on the marbles on the inside, and got his braking zone a little bit wrong, his braking point, sorry, I think, from being offline, because obviously you use something as reference, don't you, Doug, whether it be a marking or, part of the track or something, so that obviously would have been missighted, if you like, from being offline, and with the marbles and the dirty side of the track, he's completely missed his braking point, and that's kind of denied us a little bit of a battle, but
I almost think Kingston almost made such a move. I think Adam maybe overthought it a bit, felt the pressure a little bit after so long, and kind of just made that mistake as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's unusual to see pressure get into him. I mean, perhaps it's something else. We don't know. We'll ask him after the race. But if it is pressure, that's very unusual for it to get to him. It's like I say, it's easy to sort of blame him, but I suppose you've got to give Kingston credit for distracting him, sort of, as you're saying there, really, isn't it? And putting him under that pressure to force a mistake out of him, out of a driver who's, a double defending champion. That's not easy to do, so credit to Kingston as well.
Definitely, yes. Sometimes you don't have to make a move, sometimes it's about waiting for the move to happen itself naturally. Yeah,
and just being there
and that's kind of the way it went.
Yeah, go for it.
It's kind of the way it went last night for myself. I didn't necessarily go for overtakes. I kind of just let people through the chicane, and just knew on the first lap people were going to spill out wide onto there, and I could just pick up a few paces. And sometimes it's just waiting for people to make mistakes. And you know, certain drivers will make mistakes. Sounds bad, but you do.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just how it goes. But we are, what we know, just over 6 minutes left. Oh, and Foster trying to come back. Now Foster not happy with that mistake, and into the same corner where he made the mistake. He does come up alongside, and he gets his nose just in front of the Aston Martin, trying to hang it around the outside. Foster got the inside for this corner now, and the Aston Martin the inside for the next one. But Foster tries to keep his car ahead. Oh, and they just looked like they were about to make some contact, but Foster again will have a shorter run to the inside line for the next corner. The Aston Martin just has to back out the throttle and take the long way around the corner and then back out of it. Foster retakes second position. Outstanding racing from these two, Doug.
Excellent. That was excellent. That was great racing, and kept it clean as well, which is always good to see.
Yeah, superb stuff.
And knows that we inside her.
Yeah, these two not afraid to get nice and close and battle each other. They know each other's game by now. They've been racing against each other for all of this season and a few races last season when Kingston joined as a wild card towards the end of the season. So total faith and trust in each other, and that's great to see, isn't it?
Definitely. I think a key part of being on track, as much as you're battling each other, you've got to have trust that you're not going to spoil each other's races, because both of these guys have worked hard in practice to get themselves up into this sort of position. You don't want to be taking each other out of track when you've taken each other off the track when you've worked so hard. And of course, battling, giving great entertainment as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And in fairness and in total honesty, I'd be one of those drivers. I've done it myself where I've battled for the lead in particularly in touring cars, and made a huge error battling. I'm in second, the guy's in first, and taking both of us out of the race. I've been there, I've done it. It's hugely frustrating. I distinctly remember during the old BTCC Fans League doing it at Alton Park, battling for the lead after having qualified last due to an error. Battled from last up to second, was battling for the lead, and completely took a guy out.
Was that when you was in a BM?
No, I was still in the Merc at the time. I was never any good. Oh, Kingston goes wide there.
Over the silly sausages?
Yeah, over the silly sausages he goes. And Foster now having to hang it around the outside. Kingston, oh, it looks like he's going to... No, is he going to concede the position? And did he gain an advantage from being off track? But yeah, he does just fall back into line. And Foster retakes the position, but these two just back and forth. It's relentless battling between these guys. We have 3.5 minutes left. Engel is just about to cross the line, so that means we've got 2 laps to go. So we've had 16, and this is lap 17, so we will have 18 laps all together. But Foster still in second, Kingston still in third as these guys battle away. But yes, no, that was in the Merc. When I went into the BMW, I was never any good. That thing was absolutely dreadful. Oh god, it was such an awful car. I mean, if you could get the best out of it, it was clearly the quickest car, but it was just so temperamental. I hated it. But anyway, and it,
you can't, Hondas.
Well, it's like you can't even say because it was it didn't have downforce as a rear-wheel drive car or traction control, because like even in like the Formula Renaults and the Ginetta Juniors and stuff like that, I was great in those, but I just could not drive that touring car BMW. Absolutely horrendous vehicle.
It was a strange one because I think there was one person in the league who could.
Yeah, there was a couple really, wasn't there? 2 or 3.
Oh
really,
yeah,
but yeah, most of us were in the front wheel drives because we couldn't drive anything else. But there we go. That is part of our lack of talent, unfortunately. It's just one of those things. But no
hence why we're in a comms box now.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I do sometimes think, oh God, I wish I was still out there racing against these guys. But I know I'd be frustrated finishing 12th every week. So anyway, I'm better off here calling the action with you, my good friend. But
exactly, and I'd be waving from the back at 17th.
Yeah, it's a tough old bit of software this, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy doing the endurance races that we do in off season and stuff like that as well. So, just keeping an eye on battles. There's nothing else going on in terms of battles, guys. Unfortunately, everybody just sort of is where they are, apart from Kingston and Foster. So these two still the only two battling away on track for position as we count down to what will be the last lap. And there we go. The leader is on the final lap. Message has just come through from race control. So you can see him in the foreground there, just going up to the first corner, and in the background, sorry. And here come Foster and Kingston for one last battle, one last duel between this McLaren and Aston Martin around C.O.T.A. before we have a brief break, qualifying 2 and race 2 in the coming minutes. But I don't know if you want to start having a think while we just watch the remaining seconds of this battle about your driver of race 1.
I've got 2 contenders, I think.
Fire away.
I've got, in fact, it's 2 you mentioned before, so it's DeHaan and Humphries. Oh, but then Ingle as well, or race consistent at the front, kept his head in the game.
Yeah, we gave it to Ingle last week, so I think in the interest of fairness, he should. We shouldn't give it to him again. Purely.
I'd go for either DeHaan or Humphries then.
Okay, I would say. How far is... Because Humphries would have lost about 10 seconds more having started from the pit lane. How many seconds behind DeHaan is he? He is 11, 12, 23, 30 seconds behind DeHaan, having started 10 seconds further back than him. So on the basis of that maths, I'm going to say Kevin DeHaan. Because I think he's made more progress on the basis of how far he is away from Ash. Not to take anything away from Ash, he's done a superb job to come back to 9th, but I would say DeHaan has made more of his race, and his fastest lap is over a second quicker than Humphries as well. But Dominic Ingle has finished the race, and he wins the first of our 2 races this evening at C.O.T.A. Adam Foster under tons of pressure from Alex Kingston on the line, but they do finish 2nd and 3rd consecutively. Kevin DeHaan, our driver of race 1, finishes in 5th. Casatarish is going to come home, 4th, sorry, Casatarish in 5th, whereas Beerkhouse comes home in 6th in the end. He'll be disappointed, but at least he does get the opportunity to qualify for the next race. Lloyd Reed is next down the road. He is going to come home in 7th position. Michael Mooney then with a decent finish again for Michael in the Merc, and getting to cross the line with his teammate, even though they aren't in the same position. His teammate has been lapped, but they get to cross the line together, which is a nice little touch. Ash Humphries in 9th, Darrell Weavers in 10th. Damien Humphries eventually finished in 11th, which I'm sure he'll be a little bit disappointed with. That spin really sort of spoiled his race after he was running in 5th position for quite a few laps earlier on in the race, but he'll be hoping for a bit more from race 2. But he does cross the line in 11th. Rich Arnold will cross the line in 12th. And Guido Montagnino, I got it right first time, will come home in 13th position in his McLaren, and Mark Shepherd in 14th. And those are the last 2 on the lead lap. The cars that have been lapped are Dan Stevens, Paul Prescott and Bart Tonks, who retired to the pits. So that's it. A great victory there for Dominic Ingle. Superb from him. Any further thoughts to add to that, I guess, Doug?
No, I was just going to say the same. Ingle just was there. No one really, he didn't have to do much work. He just kept his head in a game, consistency, and as I think some of the guys were saying, whoever can just keep it on track, keep it clean, will win. And I think that's what kind of happened, really. Yeah,
totally true. So we are just moments away now from our second qualifying session. And as you can see on screen there, just confirming Dominic Ingle as your race winner. Insights brought to you by ACC which is the wonderful software that we use to run all of these custom graphics and all of the controls that I use, and the information that I get is all from ACC TV. So absolutely fantastic bit of software that we have purchased for the league. Yeah, so we're just waiting for the session to reset now before we'll get the opportunity to see qualifying 2. But we are joined. Oh, sorry, is that what you were about to say?
I was just about to introduce because I thought you might not have seen him because you were messing around with your next session. So I was just going to introduce him, but you beat me to it.
Yeah, well, we are joined by 2 drivers. We've got our very own Dominic Ingle and our very own Richard Arnold. They're all our very own. But we'll go to Dom first. Dom, congratulations on another race victory. It's certainly all coming up, Dom, at the moment, isn't it? You're having a great time out there. You look really comfortable on track, and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I went probably slightly better than I expected, actually. I knew I'd quite good pace, but wasn't sure if I'd get to qualify, which I know you might say isn't bad after last week, but I didn't want to not qualify around here. So luckily managed to pop a lap in at the end, and then the first few laps I just was desperate to try and bring my tyres in slowly and not kill them. But it meant I had to be a bit defensive. And then I got really lucky, to be fair, that Kingston and Foster looked like they're having an amazing battle behind me, which just allowed me just to look forward and eke out a gap, because I think had they not been battling so much, I think it would have been a lot closer.
Green light, show them what you got.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say it would have been a fair amount closer. If they hadn't been battling, they certainly were costing each other time. But at the same time, I think you just had enough in the bag to cover it off. But are we starting to think about the championship now? 2 wins in a row. You're certainly moving up that leaderboard at a rate of knots.
Maybe. I think it's going to depend whether I can do each week. That's going to be a big part of it. I know there's some drop scores, but even when there's drop scores, really you need a drop score to be a week when you don't drive at your best or you have a dodgy week,
yes,
rather than not turning up.
Yes,
so
yeah.
We'll see. I'd love to say yes, and obviously that's what I'd like to do, but it's whether I can still come every week. That'll be the key.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a stellar job so far, and congratulations. Dougie, any questions for Mr. Arnold?
How did you find it? You seemed, Oscar, in fact, I was about to say last weekend, but the week before, Oscar, you had one of your best races. How did you find it this week? Last week?
Pretty tough, to be fair. I knew I was going to struggle around here in the Honda. It's very tail happy, so it doesn't bode well for the track. But I was actually having a fairly decent race. I thought it was going pretty well, but just towards the end, the rear tyres started to go, and going through those S's with shot rear tyres, it was impossible. I think I spun sort of 3 laps in a row trying to just keep the thing on the track. So settled back down into 12th, and just saw the race out from there. Really, damage limitation. Hopefully, felt a little bit quicker than I thought I was going to be. So hopefully, race 2 can push forward and get something from it.
Definitely, you're looking to qualify high and try and just defend and maintain places.
I'm not sure I've got the 1 lap pace round here, but certainly seem to have pretty good race pace. So I'll try and get as best we can qualifying, but I think it's going to be one in the race today. I'm certainly going to get my result in the race rather than qualifying, I think, today.
No, fair enough.
I
think we've been joined by Adam as well.
Yeah, Adam, welcome in. You look like you had a cracking battle there with Kingston. I mean, we were just saying with Dom, it probably cost you the opportunity to really battle for the lead, but still you must have enjoyed the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, that was an incredible race. Absolutely incredible. The first bit I was like, those 3 are going to pull away. And then something happened to Wes. I think he bumped Dom and he spun and nearly crashed into him. And then after that, it was just me and Alex switching places. Best move I'd done though was down the back straight and kept it on the outside into that hairpin. That was incredible.
I think we caught that one, yeah, because you were just you were door to door all the way through the sort of last 5-6 corners, all that twisting section. It was superb to watch, mate. Absolutely stellar driving from the 2 of you.
Probably my best race so far.
Yeah, you looked superb out there. We've seen a few cars struggling with the sausage curbs and stuff. You've been staying well away from those in the McLaren, I assume.
Yeah, I only got 2 track warnings on that last run, so it bodes well for the next race.
Yeah, but I've seen quite a few people actually spinning off because they're getting so wide that they're also hitting the sausages and the silly
Yeah,
sausages as they've been dubbed.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the crazy ones. Yeah, they're everywhere. Inside corner, outside of the
Yeah.
corner. Yeah,
It certainly makes you keep it between the lines, doesn't it? But
it does.
yeah. Another sort of uncharacteristic mistake from Wes in that race with that accident. Yeah, he just seems a little out of sorts his last 2 weeks, doesn't he? Making unusual errors for him, for somebody who's such a clean, consistent driver.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is under the influence of the Rona, so
No, we'll let him off then.
yeah.
That's enough.
He should run away with this next race, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly a strong contender for pole, and certainly looks like he can challenge for the win. A lot less time for you guys to make your way through the field. Sorry, excuse me. 20-minute race, but yeah, just you guys are aware we gave driver of race 1 to Dehan as he didn't qualify. I'm not sure if that was planned or not.
It was. He
Okay.
had a qualifying ban for race 1.
Fair enough. I wasn't aware of that. I apologise. I may not have read that, but yeah, got himself up to 4th, which I thought was a superb drive. But yeah, great stuff. And so where are we now? We are just under 3 minutes left of this short qualifying session. So you guys, give us your predictions. Where do you want to get to in this second race? Adam, you go first.
I would like top 8. Top 8 I'll be happy with.
Yeah. Dom?
And in front of Alex, obviously.
Dom, what are you aiming for?
I would have said anywhere in the top 10, to be honest, because I think it's quite tricky. It's actually quite tricky to stay that close here. Although, Alex and Adam did it really well in the last race, but I think it will depend. A lot will depend on the first 2 laps as to whether we're able to make some moves quickly. But if we're obviously all together and we're battling each other, I think top 10, top 8, yeah, max would be amazing in 20 minutes. But my vote for this race is going to be... It's got to be Wes for this run, and I think who else think will be there? I think
Lloyd might be a good shout.
Lloyd. Yeah, I think Lloyd might be a good shout too.
Wes has just set a 206.9 to go into provisional pole position,
That's pole position,
which is absolutely sickening, and he should be fired immediately. That is absolutely disgustingly fast.
Yeah, Optimum track now.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
quali. First quali was fast track, wasn't it? I think, Adam.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great time. Really good.
And what the guys are referring
Really
to there, for you folks watching at home, is that the track develops much like if you watch Formula 1 and other categories, and they say about the track ramping up. Well, that happens on this game, as in it starts green and it gets more grippy as the weekend goes on. It's an iterative result of more and more racing happening on the circuit. So that's what the guys are referring to when they talk about the track being fast or optimum. But yeah, cheers for joining us, gents. I'll let you guys get off and get your final preparations done for race 2 and just call the final moments of this quali, and we'll catch you after race 2. Cheers, boys. Armagam, you've managed to find your way home.
Hello, I have. I'm here. I'm alive.
He's alive. So
Part-time he's commentators there.
yeah, part-time, there's a lot of you. Have you managed to catch anything, or do you need a little update?
I will need a little race rundown from yourself, Mike,
That's
just to get me up to speed.
absolutely fine. And just to recap for the guys at home as well, so we had our opening qualifying session of the evening, which gave us what looked like it was going to be Kingston versus Foster versus Bakehouse for pole position, and all of a sudden Dominic Ingle came in, managed to set 1 lap because he was late to quali, and put himself on pole. Led from the start, wins the race, all the guys behind him battling, epic battle between Foster and Kingston right throughout the race. Yeah, a win for Ingle. Plenty of people struggling. Contact again from Wes Bakehouse, same as last week, Aaron. So uncharacteristic from him, but we are told he is suffering with coronavirus, so he's a little bit out of sorts at the moment. So I hope he feels better soon, because having had it twice myself, I can contest to the fact that it is very unpleasant. But the timing screen, as you can see, is all over the place. So I'm just looking now, according to the numbers and not the actual position you can see on screen. We've got... Oh, there we are, sorted itself out. So, Wes Bakehouse takes pole for race 2, our 20-minute sprint. Lloyd Reed second, fantastic lap from Lloyd. And then you've got Ashley Humphreys in third, and in fourth, Damien Humphreys. So Humphreys all second row. That'll be interesting, boys. A bit of brotherly love into turn 1. Bart Tonks with a great fifth. Richard Arnold in sixth. Great lap from him. Prescott and Mooney. Mooney probably be a little bit disappointed with that, I would imagine. I would have expected him maybe to be more towards the Humphreys brothers, but they're in seventh and eighth, the two teammates. Weavers and Stevens 9th and 10th. Shepherd 11th. And then you've got the guys who did not qualify from race 1, and also Montagnino as well has not has not managed to set a time, I think, by the look of it. So he is also down towards the back of the grid. So we're just waiting for the guys to ready up and get their cars into the zone that it needs to be ready for this race. So give us your predictions then, boys. We got a very fast Wes Bakehouse on pole. He's got the coronavirus. He's made a few mistakes this week and last week, so he's not guaranteed for the win. You've got all the quick guys at the back, but they've also got ballast. It's also for track temperatures come down to 30 degrees for this session from 45 in the first session, so it's a lot cooler. Give us your predictions then. Aaron, you've not said much because you were late to the party, so you can go first. Give us a little prediction. Who would you think is going to take this race?
Interesting one. Obviously, my input's probably going to be a little bit flawed because I've not seen it myself. But by the sounds of it, Wes is pretty quick, just lacking consistency. But with it being the second race and the shorter race, I don't see any reason why he can't leave from the offset and win.
Yeah, Doug.
So I would agree with that, Wes. But my other prediction, or my would like to see, is a brothers 1-2, Humphreys and Humphreys.
30 seconds.
It's been a long time since we've seen that.
It's been.
Have we ever seen it?
Oh, we've never seen a 1-2. I mean, Ash won one race towards the end of last season.
20 seconds.
So Ash is a former race winner and a former champion in other categories as well. So very experienced. Ash was going to be my wild card. I think if for whatever reason Wes has a bit of a stinker, then it'll be between Lloyd Reed and Ash to win, and that's assuming that those fast guys don't make it through the field quick enough in the 20 minutes to really make an impact at the front. But that's the excitement in it, boys, is that we don't know how quickly they're going to make their way through the field. So our good friend Clenneth is back in the chat. Clenneth, hello, our friend, and yeah, he's saying don't count out Bart. We're not yet. I mean, never count him out. He's insanely quick. He's just struggled so much for consistency as Bartonks, and we do feel for him. Yeah, I hope he has a fantastic race. I would love nothing more than to see Bartonks win this race because he's a cracking guy. He's just really struggled for consistency over the past 2 seasons. But here we go then. The guys just on their warm-up lap, getting ready for race 2. 20-minute sprint race, so that is going to give us 8, maybe 9 laps based on it being basically a 2:08 lap time. So I'm estimating it'll probably be 8 or 9 laps in this one, as we had 18 in the last one, so it should be 9 by my calculations, but not that my maths is ever perfect. So yeah, we had.
It's still a good guess, mate. It's still a good guess.
Well, it can't be far
Better than
wrong. Can
nothing.
it? Yeah, I mean, basically dividing 20 by 2 and a little bit. So it's not difficult maths, but there we go.
We're no Einsteins, are we?
No, certainly not. No. That's certainly not a title I would use. So we had. It's not. Me and Dougie were speaking earlier about the track. It's not one that Dougie's raced at, so he wasn't hugely familiar with it. Obviously you've joined us now, Aaron. So your insights into C.O.T.A as a whole.
I'm quite experienced around C.O.T.A. I don't know if have you guys ever drove around the track? Sorry, I don't know if you
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever turned a wheel around it.
I've done tons of running here in Formula Renault, touring cars, GT racing on here. Yeah, I've done a fair amount, and some Formula racing as well, actually. Yeah.
So I purely only have Formula racing, and this is going to be a strange one. V8 supercar racing around C.O.T.A. What I do know is it's a tyre killer. Even when the weather isn't as hot as it has been, I know Adam said midweek that this is going to be a scorcher.
Yeah, it was 45 degrees in race one. It's down to 30 for this one though, because it's an early evening race. The time of day in the game is 7:05 in the evening, so it has cooled down considerably.
Still pretty hot though.
Yep.
Those tyres are going to be suffering. I mean, it's through the prolonged corners such as this one here. The tyres just end up giving out and come your 8th and 9th lap. Obviously, race one will have probably had more of an effect because of it being longer as well. The car just doesn't have the grip, and it ends up being a story of who saved their tyres best wins.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of described it earlier as kind of all the best bits of Spa and Silverstone in one. Would you kind of agree with that as an assessment?
Yeah, you've got the S's and you've got the long straights of Spa as well. That's I think that's a very good assessment, to be fair, mate.
Well, I was looking for a bit of validation there. My ego needed it needed a little
ego
stroke.
boost.
Yes. That's the only reason I have you boys along, is to stroke my ego. That was ego, by the way, ego.
As long as it's nothing else.
Anyway, we are about to start this race. Certainly nothing else, my friend. You wouldn't be able to find it. But we are about to start this race. We are waiting for a green light. It is imminent. Any second now we will have the green light and these guys will start racing down towards the first corner. There we go. We've got a green light and it's foot flat to the floor and down they go towards the first corner. Big House with the advantage of the inside. Lloyd Reed very quick though, looking to make advantage around the outside. But Ash Humphries, sorry, I couldn't get my words out there. You can see in the background just having a little sneaky look, but he couldn't quite get it done. Big House running away with it at the moment, and Humphries and the drivers are all dotting around all over the place on my timing screen, and I can't tell who's where, and it's a complete mess. But I think it's still Beerhouse from Reed. Yeah, there we are, sorted itself out. And Tonks has had an issue, and he's made contact by the look of it with Mooney, and those two dropped to last position. Oh, that is a shame. We haven't quite got time to look at a replay at the moment because it's still all action as it stands. Humphries putting real pressure on Lloyd Reed at the moment. He was someone we thought could potentially have a look at a race win today, given the right circumstances, but he's right on the back of Reed now. He's definitely got more confidence in the McLaren in these early parts than Reed has in that Audi. But the Audi is quicker down the straight, as you can see, even in the slipstream, pulling away. Humphries goes to the inside. Has he got enough under braking to get it done? No, he thinks better of it. Oh, and he just thought he was going to carry too much speed there, and he just managed just to keep himself off the curb. And his brother also getting a little bit interested in the back of him. Oh, and he's made a mistake there, and that is going to give his brother the run on the inside. He's not going to like that, but Humphries number 2 makes it past Humphries number 1 and then concedes the position back to his brother. I think he knows that isn't his battle. He just wants to try and follow these guys and try and stay ahead of them. Darrell Weaver's currently in 5th at the moment, holding position. Oh, Casatarish has had an issue. He's had a spin and he's dropped a load of positions. So Darrell Weaver's still holding off Rich Arnold at the moment. Rich Arnold to be looking to make a a position or two and try and make the best of this second sprint race. Guido Montagnino still in 7th. Dahan already up to 8th. He could be dangerous in this race, guys. We didn't mention him, but he gained 12 positions in that first race in 40 minutes, and in 20 minutes, and he did most of those in the first 20 minutes, and with only a 20-minute race, he's already up to 10th, so he could well be dangerous. But Rich Arnold makes his way up past Weavers. We just missed the move, so we'll just take a quick look at the replay and see if we can see how he pulled that off. So here he is following him down the down the main straight, sorry. And what I'm assuming will be a textbook move into the first corner. Yeah, there he goes. Pulls the Honda out.
Seems to me that McLaren struggles in a straight line, Mike.
Yeah, it does look like it is struggling today. It certainly doesn't appear to have the straight line speed. But then Foster was keeping up with the Aston Martin when they battled in race 1. So, yeah, difficult to say. It could be a setup.
Yeah.
He's probably Weaver's probably a lot less experienced than others with the setup side of things. But yeah, so Bartonks, Casatares, Dominic Ingle all down at the back. Dom not making the progress he would have hoped for. He's clearly been caught up in some battles. Kevin Dahan makes his way past Montagnino and up into 7th. I think Dahan could be dangerous in this race, and he could easily be looking at a podium if he keeps this up. But still, Bierkaus up in front. He's got a 4-second lead now. And as the guys were saying before the race, he just needs to keep it simple and keep his head. He is very unwell with COVID, but he's still managing to lead this race at the moment. Lloyd Reed in 2nd. He's gapped a little bit now. Ash Humphreys, who was also gapped his brother, Damien Humphreys. And then Rich Arnold, the next car down the road, in 5th. And then Weavers and Dahan. Dahan looks like one who's going to be making major progress at the moment, so we'll keep a close eye on him as he battles away with the cars in front. But yeah, a bit of a messy couple of moments and opening a couple of laps, Dougie, particularly for Casatares, Ingle, Bartonks, all stuck down at the back in 14th, 15th and 16th.
Yeah, for me, I think as a faster driver, knowing you can get through the pack, maybe become a bit impatient and you almost rush things and you think I can just do this and just... I think we've seen it in our league sometimes with faster drivers just try a bit too hard at the start.
Yeah, I suppose, Aaron, it's one of those things, isn't it, where like Dougie's saying there, you try a little bit too hard because you want to make the progress as early as possible, kind of a bit like what Dominic Ingle was saying in the interview, in that if you don't make the progress early on and the field gets spread out in such a short race, you've had it, really.
No, absolutely. And you can understand the frustration why the fast guys kind of try and force the way through. But if it doesn't work for you, it goes terribly wrong. But that's the gamble you take, and that's the part of the parcel of these races. We ultimately we've got 5 guys at the back that are going to be separated immediately. With rolling starts, the field spread's already larger than a standing start anyway, so it's a difficult one, and you've got to be really lucky in the opening lap. We always hear that famous expression of the race can't be won, but it certainly can be lost in the opening lap, and obviously a good start certainly would help the guys in moving through the field, but if you don't get it, then that's it. You kind of cream crackered, aren't you?
Someone spinning the background there.
Yeah, that was Montagnino just going around in the background there. So while my esteemed colleague was talking there, we saw Dahan make his way up into 5th, and we're also seeing a cracking battle between the Humphreys brothers as they battle away. But just to give you a little bit of context, both you gentlemen and all the folks at home watching, Wes Bierkaus has just done a 206.7, which is 0.2 faster than his quali lap.
Wow.
And nearly half a second quicker than what we saw from anybody in Quali 1. So he is absolutely flying. He's on another planet at the moment.
That's going to be audacious into turn 1. It seemed to come from a long way back.
Yeah. So Kingston and Foster trying to make their way through. Foster just sort of caught following Kingston, and Weaver's decided not to battle too hard. bit of a false start, really, this as a reverse grid situation, isn't it, gents? Because we've got such a small grid where normally we've got sort of 25, 26 drivers, with there only being 16, it kind of has made it a little bit less difficult for those fast guys to come through.
Yeah, you instantly gain like 5 to 8 places anyway. Just even if you finish last now, you're going to become, what, 17th?
And it looks
So you still...
looks like we've lost 2 drivers as well. 2 drivers have rage quit at some point because we've only got 15 out there now. So we're just watching the replay
So, yeah, it's not...
of the Humphreys battle, and Damien ahead of Ashley as it stands, and now Dahan on the back of Humphreys. Sorry, Dougie, you were about to say something before I rudely interrupted.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, I was just agreeing with you really that the reverse grid isn't a total reverse grid as C.O.T A when there is 25 cars on the grid. So.
Of course you're agreeing with me. I only speak perfect sense.
Again, stroking at ego.
Apart from all the times I speak complete nonsense. But we won't cover
That was
those.
a Murrayism if I've ever heard one.
Pretty much, yeah. And accidental too, that wasn't intentional. Yeah, Dahan putting real pressure on the Humphreys brothers now. He's on the verge of being up into 3rd place. Yeah, shame we give him drive the race for race 1, because otherwise he'd be a contender for race 2 so far. But let's keep an eye on how this goes, because the Humphreys brothers are not going to want to give up battling each other just to battle this Aston Martin. So are they going to work together, or are they going to cost each other time and then end up seeing the Aston Martin work its way easily through the 2 of them? That is the big question. Ashley answering that.
Very defensive.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You almost read my mind. He doesn't want to be out there on those sausage curbs, though. That's not going to do Dahan any favours at all, and will cost him a couple of tenths.
It was a little bit cheeky from Ash that he kind of defended and then showed him very politely off the circuit. You know, something we've seen in Formula 1 quite often. I think that's probably as cheeky as you're going to get tonight in terms of defence.
Yeah, it's all's fair in love and war, isn't it? As long as there's no physical contact between them.
No, exactly.
Yeah, all good. Oh, but Dahan right alongside Humphreys now. Humphreys does once again take to the inside, but Dahan a little bit out of shape, but still manages to keep it ahead. Humphreys with a short entry to the corner, being on the inside, but Dahan hangs it around the outside. Great bit of racing there, boys.
Yeah, and I don't think it's over. I think the battle's going to continue down the straight. Ash just needs to tuck in and hope that he gets a bit of a run, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Oh, he's against.
I say that, he pulls out.
He's against what is probably the fastest car in a straight line, in what is one of the slowest in a straight line at this circuit. So that was not really going to go his way.
He just needs to hang back now, doesn't he, and try and follow him through against his brother. But I don't think his brother will make it particularly easy.
Oh, there's definitely no love lost between those two on the race circuit. That is for sure. So Dominic Ingle battling away with Bart Tonks, and he gets himself up into 12th. Disappointing so far for Dom. I'm sure he would have wanted to make more progress than this, like Kingston and Foster have. They're up to 7th and 8th at the moment and about to battle Rich Arnold for 6th. So they've made good progress, haven't they, Doug? Considering they started at the back, they haven't done too badly at all so far.
Definitely not. I think, well, Foster said top 8, so we'll be happy where he is now. And he could only move up between now and the end of the race, I'm assuming, anyway.
Yeah, totally agree. He's got to be happy with that so far. Kingston getting closer and closer to Rich Arnold, but Rich will battle him. He's not going to give him it easily, but he will have a disadvantage in pace, as the Honda is not a car that enjoys this circuit. So that will, of course, be a problem for him. So Dahan's super close now to Humphreys' brother, number 2. And that's not based on age or anything, it's just based on the fact that he overtook the other one first. So,
Who is the big brother?
I actually don't know. I think Damien's the big brother, I think. He's certainly the big brother in height anyway. He's like 6'4". So, yeah.
It's going to be like a carbon copy move, isn't it, almost?
Yeah. But I mean,
Ash wants to get involved.
It's slowed him down, hasn't it? You know, Damien slowed him down just in the right place there. So it's going to give Ash a look, but I think, again, you can see the speed disparity between the two means that he's just able to hold station. Kingston is just battling away with Rich Arnold down the straight a little bit further back from that battle we were just watching, and Kingston finds himself up into 6th position now. 4 seconds off the back of that other battle we were watching. Dahan has made his way through, and we've missed it, so we'll just take a look at the replay. Let's just pop back and see. So this is where we left the action, just coming down the straight, and Dahan just taking a normal line, I would say, through there. It looked to me, Aaron, and allowing Damo almost to sort of defend thin air a little bit, and that put him a bit out of shape, and then it was textbook.
Yeah, it was, and the bad thing about that was it almost opened Damien up to Ash, but luckily he managed to hang on there. Got very, 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 very lucky, really. That could have quite easily been 2 positions lost.
Yeah, and we've got just under 7 minutes to go, and you can already see in the background of that shot there as we watch Dahan, who's now up into 3rd, 8.5 seconds behind 2nd now, so that is probably as good as it's going to get for him. Oh, I think there's been some contact with Foster. We're just going to take a quick look at the replay. Sorry, it's just missed it. Rich Arnold, I think, has spun in the middle of the corner, and Adam Foster's come around the corner, not seen him, and just hit him. So that is a shame, but that has cost Adam Foster 6 seconds to the back of Alex Kingston, because what I was about to say was the Humphreys brothers are about to have Kingston and Foster for company with just 6 minutes left, but unfortunately it looks like that is not going to happen. Montagnino has had a little bit of a spin, and he's now down in 14th position. And Ash Humphreys has made his way past Damien Humphreys again and regained that position. So let's just take a look at how Ash made that happen. Here he is following through the twisty section down towards straight. Damien taking a very defensive line. Ash just getting up the inside into the braking zone. And Dougie, it doesn't get much easier than that.
No, as we keep saying for the 800th time, textbook.
Textbook indeed. What can you do in that situation to defend Aaron? I mean, is there anything you can do, or is it just you're just a passenger at that point?
I think you kind of, the best defence almost is to accept the move into, it's not quite a hairpin, is it really?
Yeah. I said that earlier. I said it's like a hairpin / really tight corner.
Yeah, it's. I think the best way to defend is to almost force the guy making the move into a poor run on the straight, so you can get them back by any means necessary. Whether that's you letting them take the inside and then squeezing them so they've got a compromised exit, or you go the total opposite and try and go really wide for a switchback. I think that's the only way you can defend. Otherwise, the move's done, and before you know where you are, you're slipping back down the straight and losing time all the way down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can actually vouch for that because I have it on record as we saw a move there. 2 moves actually. I'll let you take the mic, Mike.
Yeah, I was just to say, I saw Bart Tonks was battling away, and he tried to make a move stick and then got it all wrong into the braking zone, and then Alex Kingston has made his way up past Humphrey's brother number 1. I did miss it. Let me see if it will come up on the replay. Yeah, we are just going to get it on the replay. What a wonderful piece of software this is. Damien just getting a little bit out of shape through the S's, and that was not textbook there at all. It was very off-book, but the same result. Through he goes, and he can go on to battle Ash Humphreys, which he is doing. In fact, he's just got past him because Ash has made a huge mistake and gone off the track. Sorry, what was you saying?
Are you saying off book? And I said it's a good job you said it that way around, not the way around. Because I a bit wrong.
Yeah,
Think of that.
The dad jokes are back. So yeah, Clenneth in chat just asking what's happened to the straight line speed of the McLaren. Well, I think since the latest balance of performance update, it's really affected the McLaren. So it's not the favoured car now, and the Aston Martin this season is a bit like the BMW from our season 1, in that the balance of performance really suited it. So those in the Aston are quite dominant at the moment.
It's almost as if you can get away with driving a little bit more poorly in the Aston Martin and still being quick, whereas in this McLaren you've got to be dead on, nailed on every single lap just to stick with the Astons and the faster cars.
Yeah, I mean the McLaren's very much that type of car, very similar to the NSX in that way, just the way that it drives. But yeah, the field quite strung out for a sprint race, to be honest, and this is one of the problems with having a smaller grid today. Unfortunately, it hasn't given us as much battling as we would like. Rich Arnold's had a little spin, so he's going to drop from 8th down to 10th. So commiserations to Rich there, a little bit of a spinneroonie. Clenneth saying he could overtake the McLaren with his Toyota Yaris.
I'd love to see you try, Clenneth.
I bid you good luck with that. A mate of mine and Damien's took his Toyota Yaris around the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and so that was entertaining. You should do that, Clenneth. It was that was an entertaining watch. Mind you, if you've got a GR Yaris, mind, I'm calling foul play because those are quick little buggers.
Black flag for you, Clenneth.
Black flag, indeed. So yeah, we are pretty much drivers just holding station. We are about to start the last lap of the race, and Wes has managed to hold on to it. He's just about to cross the line.
All right, man. The leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
As you can hear, the leader is on the final lap. So Wes Bakehouse heading his way up to the first corner in first place. Lloyd Reed 10 seconds behind, but he's done a fantastic job, kept his nose clean, got through those early battles with the Humphreys brothers unscathed, and just shot on off up the road. Not had Wes's pace, but he certainly had enough pace to hold on to what is a fantastic second position. Kevin DeHaan is in third, another great drive. He had our driver of the race for race 1. But he's done superbly well to get up into the podium positions after a qualifying ban led to him being outside of the top. Out in the bottom 5 for qualifying. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out there. Alex Kingston has battled his way up into 4th, and he is ahead of Humphreys number 1 and Humphreys number 2, and importantly for the championship battle, ahead of Adam Foster and Dominic Ingle. Dominic Ingle has eventually got himself up into 8th, which he said he'd be satisfied with, but seeing the progress that DeHaan has made, I'm sure, I don't know about you boys, but I'm sure Ingle will probably be looking at DeHaan's pace thinking, that should be me, I should probably be up towards the podium.
No, I would agree. Sorry, Aaron.
That was a very quick response from both of us, wasn't it? Just
I was like, cheers for the conversation, boys. See you later. Off I go. Nice talking to you.
You've got to
no,
twice. Stop doing everything you did to say.
it was as fast as a pit stop, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just, yep.
I'm off, boys. I'll just go tuck the kids in. I'll see you later. Yeah. Anyway, Ash Humphreys has having a good old battle with his brother again. These two refusing to leave each other alone.
The leader has finished the race.
But Wes Bakehouse has won the race, and a fantastic victory for him. Congratulations. Lloyd Reed is going to come home in second, but we'll just keep an eye on this Humphreys battle just over the last few corners. Kevin DeHaan is about to cross the line in third place. And there he goes. Alex Kingston will take 4th. Ash Humphreys will take 5th. And Damien Humphreys will take 6th. Adam Foster in 7th. Just a quick word on Damien Humphries. I thought he's driven really well tonight. He had a couple of issues in that first race, but he showed great pace. He qualified really well, and has done really well to battle with his brother, who's generally faster than him, all the way through that race and finished in sixth. I think he deserves a special mention. Yeah, gentlemen, do you want to start thinking about your driver then of race 2? And I think I'm going to suggest that mine is Damien Humphries. I'll go first for a change because I never do. Yeah, just reiterating what I just said, really. I think he drove superbly well in race 1. He did get caught up in a little incident which kind of spoiled it for him, but he still battled his way back to 11th or 12th. And yeah, 6th place in this, battling away with some guys who were generally quicker than him. He was on the pace today. So Damien is my nomination for driver of race 2.
I think my nomination, as easy as it would seem to be, to give it to this man, would probably be Wes, purely because of what he's like, obviously with his coronavirus and maybe he's not being 100% fully fit. I just think that's a storming drive for race 2, so my nomination would be Wes Beekhouse.
Oh, you made my life hard now, haven't you?
You've got the casting vote.
Pick the decider.
The casting vote.
I'm going to go for Damien, because it's very, very good. Great. Both races, I think, did really, really well, and as you said, battled with some of the guys who are usually faster and was all on the pace of them guys today as well.
Yeah, fair enough. So Damien Humphries takes driver of race 2. So there we go, and he's in the comms box. If you have got cameras, boys, turn them on, and you can be live on stream next to my beautiful face. So please do turn your cameras on if you have them. If you haven't, then don't. It's simple rules. We don't keep things complicated. But there we go. 2 fantastic races that we've seen from everybody there. We've got plenty of drivers in the comms box to talk to. Well, I say plenty. 4, but 4's better than none. Or 3, is it? No, it's 3. It's only 3, but 3's better than none. So, boys, I'll let you take away the questions this week. And, Aaron, if you start first, and then Dougie, you can ask some questions. And, crack on.
Cool. I will go straight to Adam, because I felt a lot of pain for Ad in that second race, just with him bumping into Rich. Ad, we didn't quite catch it on stream, but we think we know what happened. And my heart goes out for you because I feel like if that didn't happen, you probably could have been ahead of the 2 Humphries brothers. Just wondering what actually happened, bud, because we missed it on stream, that's all.
With who?
It looked like he had an incident with a Honda. We thought it was Rich, but it might not have been Rich.
No, Rich binned it himself, unfortunately.
I did.
Right.
I basically went wide and spun a bit and just got into Adam's path. So it was a bit of my doing, but just kind of got in his way.
Cool.
But yeah, there was a... Yeah, carry on.
No, I was just going to say I was a bit gutted because I thought you'd probably, if that didn't happen, you'd have probably maybe just only finished 1 position behind Kingston and obviously had been a bit closer to him in the championship.
Yeah, I saw Ash and Damo fighting really hard, and I caught right up to the back of them. So yeah, if the incident didn't happen with Rich, I probably would have either been with them fighting or up past them because they were battling each other quite hard.
Well, I mean, that's just life sometimes, isn't it? And,
it is. It is. That's racing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's always next week, and the same thing could happen to Alex in the same breath as well. So you've just got to move. I will just ask one more question because obviously I've not been here for race 1 or qualifying. You told me that it was going to be a very, 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 very hot track.
Yeah.
What was it like for that race 2 though? Because conditions were considerably cooler. Did it make life easier, or was it still hard?
Once I had a bit clean there, yeah, it was a lot smoother. There was so much more grip. I ended up with 3 track limits. There was that much grip because I was taking the corners too quick. But yeah, the race 2 was really good. Race 1 was like 44 degrees. Race 2 was 30, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, it was good.
Awesome stuff, mate. Awesome stuff. Right then, Mr. Dugdale, over to yourself.
So my question is going to be for Damien, and on the back of what Adam was saying, you were battling quite hard. How did you find that second race? It looked like it was a good race. You were battling back and forth, so it looked quite enjoyable from your perspective here. What about yourself? Oh,
You're on
I
mute,
think you're still
Damo.
muted if you are speaking.
Yeah, he's still muted.
Or have you joined us by accident and you're supposed to be
No,
someone else?
I've just been a spanner. No, sorry. I was chatting away then, and putting the world to rights.
It's not like you to be a
Apologies,
tool,
good
mate.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Yeah, that second race was loads of fun. The temperature did make a big difference for me. The thing I was struggling most, and you probably caught a little bit of, is whenever I was close behind somebody, I lost my front end. So particularly through the twisty bits, I really struggled. And then the car was starting to oversteer and stuff, and I was having to dab the brakes, which is why I got tagged in the first race, because I had to dab the brakes in a place you wouldn't normally do it. And then I got hit. But that second race was great. So it was 6 of one and half a dozen the other. One make a little mistake, run wide, and I was smiling as I was driving. And I thought I could have him at the end, and I had a little lunge right at the end. But he carried the speed through the outside and then through the next few corners. But yeah, it was really really enjoyable, and that second race was great fun.
No, it looked like it provided great entertainment. We were watching, and it was all clean racing as well, which is good to see. All the battles tonight were very clean, to be fair. So yeah, I'll pass over to Mike.
Yeah, cheers. I'm going to speak to Lloyd if that is all right. Lloyd, cheers for coming in, and I just want to say congratulations, a podium.
Yeah,
Great.
finally, wow.
great quality session, in that second session as well. I mean, it's always a pressure situation, isn't it, that quality session? You basically, especially C.O.T.A, when it's a 2-minute 10 lap, or there or thereabouts, you've got no time of you really to set a lap. So you set your lap under pressure and then delivered in the race as well.
Yeah, I must admit that was my fastest lap ever. The best I'd ever got with invalid laps was 2:08.3, I think, something like that. So yeah, where the 2:07s come from, I have no idea.
Because I think you set a 2:07.8 in the race as well, didn't you? There or thereabouts.
Yeah. The first
No,
first couple of laps, I wasn't keeping up with Wes, but he was still in the I could still see him. But I thought I'd do better in the first race, and I obviously had some issues with Damien. I tapped him just in the corner. I did hold back so he could keep going, and I think it then caused a bit of a pile up behind me, which was unfortunate. But it's just one of them things. I don't deal well with pressure. I'm better than I was, but it's still a bit nerve wracking. So like in the first race with Wes behind me, I was just saying to Wes a minute ago that I was pulling 2:10s, and I was like, I couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
I mean, the tyres were giving out, there's no doubt. And I think once I had the quali in the next session, just having all that grip available, it just kind of, I guess I'd refined my racing line a little bit in the first race, but just didn't have the traction until the new set of tyres. So, phew.
Yeah, it was
so far.
Superb performance, and it was great to see. You'd looked a little bit out of sorts, if that's fair to say, since moving to the Audi, but you seem to be progressing race on race and improving week on week. So that's great to see.
Thank you. It's a much different car. The tail sort of likes to come out at the drop of a hat, so it's been a learning curve to try and tame that a little bit, and I found these little tricks here and there, but we discussed in the last season about getting better and challenging the top guys, and I think it's got a couple more seasons yet. They are absolutely flying.
They are very, very quick.
In the second race, I mean, where I saw Kevin on the radar, I was like, oh my god, where's he come from? And then Kingston come out, I was like, oh my god, here we go. But yeah, I managed to keep the lap times consistent, which was good. And then on the last lap, I had a little wobble, and that was it. I just went into cruise mode after that. Just thought, no, just get it home.
Yeah, drove well, and I thought you did a really, really, really good job in that second race. Like I say, the quality was particularly pleasing to see for you. So, congratulations and well done. I don't know who's asking the next question, and who they're asking them to, but whoever it is,
It's I.
It is you. Fire away, my friend.
I'm going to go over to. I will go to Dan Stevens. Hello, Dan. Sole Porsche remaining now. Obviously, with Kevin going to the Aston Martin. The Porsche, my favourite car to drive on the game. P10 in that second race as well, so very well done. Just going to say, just maybe talk me through that race, how it went for you, and how the Porsche felt this evening on the tyres. I know it can be a little bit kinder to its tyres than other cars. Just wanted to pick your brains on it.
It wasn't too bad on the tyres, to be fair. Probably because I was quite slower than everyone else tonight. I got lucky in that second race. I think Weavers was miles ahead, a few spins, and then last one on the last lap managed to get me up to 10th. But that was, it's quite lucky really. Porsche's all right. It's lacking time of practice, to be fair, which isn't helping.
Yeah.
So
it seemed like a very solid result though, Dan. I mean, P10, that's like bang on the money for points, really, isn't it? And puts you in good stead for the championship. So it's just a shame. Just a shame you're on your own, bud. But if I could join you, I would. I mean, I might not be useful, but I'd love to. I would have loved to have raced in a Porsche this season.
Should give it a go. Have a race.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
He's got contractual obligations where he is. Thank you very much. But,
I do, and it would require a fee to bring me out of retirement, of never even racing in the league. One more thing though, Dan. Obviously the Porsche is kind of like historically not quick in a straight line, but we're seeing that the McLaren seems to just struggle a lot this season in a straight line, or especially tonight anyway. Was just wondering how you felt the straight line speed of the Porsche was, and did you find it hard to battle with people along that back straight?
It is hard because the people I'm normally around is a Mercedes and a Honda, which they're just completely rapid down the straight. Bart in the Ferrari was quick on the straight, but not much difference, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the other guys are just, as soon as they get some speed down the straight, they're gone.
Oh, I feel that pain. I feel that pain.
I felt that pain last season.
I felt it last night, mate. I had 80 kilograms of ballast in a Honda that's already a snail in a straight line, so I share the pain. Right, Luke, I'll stop waffling on and let you ask another question.
I'm going to ask a question to Rich. We spoke to you after race 1. Race 2, did it go any better for you? How did you feel?
Loads of fun in race 2. I mean, it was a qualified 4th, which was sort of a lot higher than I was probably quick for. But yeah, I mean, there was action all over the place. I was having some battles around. I did have a couple of spins, which it's just going to happen in this car. So I wasn't looking forward to these races particularly. But yeah, I mean, I had fun. I had a good few battles with people. Weaver's spinning it on the last lap on the third to last corner I called it about half a second before. I requested that he spin so I can get in front, and the next thing you know, he's shooting off left off the track. So I feel really bad for that. But apparently, it was just complete coincidence. But no, I had really good fun that race. I'm pretty happy with I think P9. It's pretty higher than where I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'll take that.
No. But Mike was saying the Honda doesn't necessarily suit the track too well. How was it? A handful?
It is round here. I mean, the S's section, especially where you've got the hills going up at the crests are on the where the apexes are. You're constantly just taking weight off the rear end whilst trying to turn, and it's just I managed to keep it in check for most of race 2 was pretty good, but race 1 it last 5-6 laps, just the rear tyres are gone, and I couldn't keep it in a straight line. It was such a handful around there. So yeah, we'll take this race as the bogey one this season.
I suppose hard work, but still fun. That's the key thing, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I actually had really good fun tonight. It's been good. I haven't got my teammate with me, so I was actually in the comms of all the other drivers. So it was actually good fun. We're having a good laugh in there. So yeah, it's a little bit different this week.
There you go. I'll pass over to Mike again.
Yeah, cheers. Alex Kingston's in the chat. We don't get the chance to speak very often, so cheers for coming in. you're having a stellar championship so far. Leading the way, but that race 2 tonight, you made decent progress. Not as much progress as Dahan, but still really good progress, really good points. So just take us through the 2 races. Really, I guess we didn't get a chance to speak to you after race 1, but it looked like you had some really good battles in race 1 with Adam, and then race 2 carving your way through the field.
Yeah, so race 1 was so intense that I had to just go sit outside and cool down for a bit. It was quite a crazy race. Like, me and Adam were just going at it the entire time, and it was a lot of fun, to be honest. But I'd overtake him, I'd make a mistake, and then he'd overtake me again. Then he would make a little mistake, and then I'll get past him. Yeah, it was a great battle, great battle.
It was great to watch.
Glad to see the replay.
Yeah. We caught plenty of that on the stream. You guys were giving us the entertainment we needed. So,
good.
Did you enjoy carving through the field for race 2, or was it pretty straightforward?
I did. I got kind of lucky, to be honest. I managed to get through with no damage because there was quite a few incidents on lap 1 that I nearly got involved with. But yeah, got through, and then I think I got caught in the battle between the Humphrey brothers. That was quite good to watch for a little bit, and then someone made a mistake, and I just managed to sort of just get round them. But yeah, I think I got quite lucky in that second race.
Aspirations, I guess, for the championship now. We're getting towards the middle. I mean, next week will be the middle of the season. So you've got a 4-way battle really for the championship. Although Casatarish had a bit of a disaster in that last race, so you probably drop back a little bit. But it's great, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure it's great for you guys to be involved. When you've got your 3 or 4 drivers going for a championship as opposed to 1 or 2.
Oh, it's absolutely great because you got pressure every single race to try and perform, and yeah, I thought today would be one of my bogey races. To be honest, I didn't think I'd get quite so lucky, but yeah, it's going to be a tough end to the championship. Really is. It's going to be close, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a long way to go. You've got the long endurance next week. Are you looking forward to Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I do enjoy Watkins Glen. Yeah.
Yeah, we raced there in the Touring Car League last night. A shorter iteration of it, obviously, being touring cars. But yeah, it's a superb track, isn't it? Very technical.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah,
very fast.
America's got some amazing tracks, really, isn't it? So I need to visit there. But yeah, well done. Some good points. No victories, but still some really strong points, and I believe it should keep you at the sharp end of the championship. So well done. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
And I think we just got Ash Humphreys left to speak to. Dougie, I think is short. Sorry, Aaron. I keep calling you the wrong names tonight, boys. I'm having a real bad one. Aaron, I believe it's your turn to ask a question.
Cool. Good evening, Ash. I hope you're alright, mate. I've not spoken to you in a long time.
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. That looked a little bit juicy with your brother. No love lost there, was there? It seemed like, I mean, I alluded to it earlier with Dan, but it seemed like it was really hard for you in a straight line, and it seemed to be your advantage was that later part of the second and third sector, really, where you were looking threatening, really. How difficult was it tonight in the McLaren? Was it a handful, or was it just the nature of the car this season?
I'd like to know how Adam got on, but from my perspective, the car was terrible tonight. It was slow, understeery, no brakes, and a bit of oversteer. For the second race, I actually took off a bit of wing, but seemed to make absolutely zero difference. I even struggled to keep up with the Porsche, I think, in race 1.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe I should pinch Adam's setup for next week or something.
It just like visibly on stream. I mean, there was, I think, Kevin Dahan passed you and was in the slipstream of your brother, and you could just see, like, visibly you were losing time on the straight. And I just thought we couldn't tell if it was set up or if it was just the nature of the McLaren this season.
I mean, there's quite a few McLarens tonight, so I don't know if it was the same for everyone, but from me, I don't know if it was set up or what, but it was incredibly slow on the straight for sure.
I don't know what it was like for you, Ads. Was it the same?
No, not really. I was running full wing, and the Aston Martin's just incredible in a straight line, but I wasn't too much slower.
Yeah, so that's probably it's probably a setup thing then.
Probably
So
a setup, yeah. I'm
I only
happy to
jumped.
share, mate. Happy to share.
Yeah, I only jumped on tonight. First time I was on the track in the GT3. Very different from the F1 cars.
It is, isn't it?
But no, it was a good battle. Still enjoyed the second race. Struggled with my brakes. Just slowing the car down, so I missed quite a few apexes. Sort of gifted. I think Kingston, like you said, just sort of bit of a gift really for a couple of them. But it was a good battle. And I thought Damo would do a lunge right at the end, and he did. But luckily managed just to keep alongside him and just get the inside for the fast bit. So once I got that sorted, it was good. It was good fun, even with the struggling car.
No, it was class to watch, mate, and it was obviously you got the better of the battle, so brownie points for you. I'm sure Damo's probably steaming a little bit on the inside. No one likes losing,
Not at all.
especially to a brother.
No, he had a good race. He did good. He did well in the race one. I think he had some contact and cost him. And race two, he was quick at me at parts. I really struggled, but he was quick tonight.
Cool, good stuff. I mean, you both drove really, really well, and it was a good haul of points for you collectively. So, kudos from the commentators on our end.
Thank you, Neil.
Indeed, and actually, I know we spoke while we were on our little hollybobs together, but you said you sort of lost a bit of the spark over the summer. But is that spark back now, getting back into the racing?
I enjoyed tonight. Adam actually gave me his setup for last week for Kailami, and I was on the pace a bit then. So I think I just need to put some time in. Really, it's you need to practice on this game to be fast and consistent.
Yeah, which is exactly why I'm in the commentator's box, because I can't stand practicing, and practicing does my head in. I love racing, I absolutely love it, but I cannot stand practicing unless it's the Nordschleife, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, there we go. I think we've spoken to everyone. Have I missed anyone? If I have, I don't think so. I think we've,
I think we've
got everyone. Sorry, just making sure I'm not ignoring any drivers. Well, what can I say? That was some outstanding racing. C.O.T.A's given us really, really good entertainment. We're still in America next week at Watkins Glen for the long endurance race. We love these as a comms team. We love these endurance races. The pit stop always brings us a bit of jeopardy. So please tune in and join us. And don't forget Touring Car Sim Racing League as well next Wednesday. Find us on YouTube. I won't be commentating on that anymore. Our regular commentator is back, so I'll be back in the race seat, and I cannot wait to get behind the seat of the FK8 Honda. But that is Touring Car Sim Racing League. This is Final Drive Sim Racing, so thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and hope you enjoyed watching it back. And yeah, we'll see you next week for